with another video. This one is one of my favorite stories I like to tell. It's about me in high school. Me personally, I have come to the conclusion I did not enjoy high school. Don't get me wrong, I loved my friends. I loved a lot of the activities I got to do in high school. Nerd alert, I was a big drama club. I was the vice president. Yeah, that's how nerdy I was back then. That could be a whole other video. One of my favorite stories comes from high school, and it goes like this. It was my senior year, and we were all getting, like, all the teachers were saying, okay guys, this is it. This is the big test you have to take. You have to pass this test or you don't pass high school. Which, you tell a little frightened little kid like me that, terrified. But at the same time, I'm terrified, but how I handle being terrified and being, because they're trying to motivate us. But see, you try and motivate me that way, and I just I procrastinate. And that's exactly what happened. My history teacher, he was awesome. I really loved my history teacher. He was this older, bigger guy, kind of like me, who didn't take crap from anybody, and he would always like tell us these funny stories about his life, and he was a very straightforward, kind of straight shooter kind of guy. One day he says, this is it. This is your big project. You have to pass this project. And how you're going to do that is you need to create a timeline, right? You need to create a timeline of all the past all the past events, important events to you that you think affected our time today. And then I want you to create like 4 or 5 future events, which, thinking about it now, sounds kind of easy. But your mind is in a whole other state, when you're in high school. In high school, you don't understand how, at least for me, I always blow things out of proportion. And I still do today, not as bad as I did back then. Back then, I was afraid to just talk to someone at Arby's. Like, if I wanted some Arby's sauce, not happening. I was so afraid that I'd walk up there and they'd be like, what you want? Who do you think you could get it? No, get out of here. Weeks passed that we were supposed to be doing this project. I was too busy getting excited over the drama club, being how popular I was. The day came, and our history teacher said, all right, class, I'm going to give you the rest of the class to do this assignment, so you can finish it and make sure that it's great. All of a sudden, like, zoom in the camera. Poor little Watson, Waddy McFly, completely forgot and procrastinated. So I had nothing. I had a white sheet of paper in front of me, and I was like, how the hell am I gonna do this? So I'm sitting there, and I'm just like freaking out. Then of course when the teacher walks by, I'm just like, easy. And all of a sudden, a song started going through my head. Harry Truman, Doris Day, Red China, Johnny Ray, South Pacific, Joe DiMaggio. We didn't start the fire. So I'm sitting there, I look up at the clock, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I only have like 15 minutes to do this thing. So I just look at my paper and I'm like, line. Harry Truman, Doris Day, Red China, Johnny Ray, South Pacific, blah, 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 Joe DiMaggio. I had the whole thing memorized back then. It's a little hard now. I was freaking out, and that was the only thing I could do. So I hurried and I put that all on the paper, and did the little squares, drew really shitty drawings, and turned it in. The next class period comes, and we walk in, and I'll never forget this. He is sitting in the middle of the class. He's a bigger guy like me, older, much older, like 60s. He stands up, he looks around at us, and he says, I am very upset with you. The majority of the class failed. And like, I swear during this speech there was one shot where he looked right at me, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna stay in high school forever. But then he stops for a second, and he says, but there was one of you who got 100%. Out of all the history classes I've taught this year, not a single person has gotten 100% except for one. And that's Mr. Watson over here. And I was like, And he proceeds to say he had, not only did he had such insightful things to say, he was very detailed in his drawings. He chose things that were very important to him in his life, and I could tell that the reflection of history really painted a broad picture for him, seriously. So I'm just sitting there with my jaw open. Like, I can see out of the corner of my eyes, like, my friends going like, what are you doing? Like, why didn't you let me cheat off you? What's going on? But I'm like, so anyway, I'm sweating. My teacher walks up and says, I hope we all learn from your classmate Watson over here. And let's all remember that he didn't start the fire. Dead serious. It happened. Crazy, insane story. Thank you so much for watching. I not only do this, but I also release gaming videos, I stream, and we do sketches on here all the time. So, if you're new here and you were like, whoa, this is a weird thumbnail or whatever, and you're new, please subscribe, like this video, and yeah, and we'll talk to you next time. Thank you, everybody. Have a good week.